think if you have a size of a following like Gary does, it works. Just how do you scale this for over a year?
Hi, this is Mark Fidelman of Fanatics Media, and joining me is Carlos Gil, social media strategist. Welcome, Carlos.
Thank you for not calling me an expert.
But you are an expert, right? At least on Snapchat and some other platforms?
In some circles, I've been known to be. I just don't like referring to myself as one.
How do we know who's an expert then and who's not then?
Oh, gosh. It comes down to results. What results have you been able to drive on the platforms in which you're talking about? And I know there's probably people out there that are thinking right now, oh, gosh, this guy's a Snapchat thought leader, but his own company's not on Snapchat. So,
well, it's B2B.
Recently, we got BMC on Snapchat.
All right, great. So I want to jump right into things. Speaking of experts, and I consider him an expert, Gary V's 60-second club. What do you think of it?
Gosh, I think it's gimmicky, honestly. And this isn't throwing shade to Gary. I love Gary. Yeah. He's made a huge impact on my career over the last 8+ years. But I think if you have a size of a following like Gary does, it works. Just how do you scale this for over a year without alienating and pissing off your community? That's where I think it starts to feel a little gimmicky. In fact, I look at the 60-second club similar to almost like the Snapchat Snapbot, where the first week or two, and the Snapchat Snapbot is the Snapchat sunglasses vending machine.
For those spectacles.
Yeah, spectacles, for those that aren't aware. So for the first couple of weeks, you're gonna have people that are excited, they're commenting, they're getting the updates. And then as people start to feel like they're not getting out of it what they thought they were signing up for, which is a prize, then you're gonna start having folks feel like, well, there's really nothing in this for me. Gary's a very smart guy. A lot of us, especially those that follow me, those that probably watch your show here, a lot of us have learned from Gary throughout the year. So everything that he does, at least I want to assume, is calculated. There's a reason why he wants his legion of followers to have notifications set up so every time he posts a photo or video, we're the first ones to get it. It could be a book coming up. It could be something that isn't even on our radar. Again, it feels somewhat gimmicky because you're asking people to pay attention to the phone and take immediate action, but that's also what influence is all about, right? That's what building a community is all about. He's done a great job building a tribe, and I'm not gonna lie, over the last week, almost every single one of his posts, I've gone on there and I've said, hey Gary, I've put hashtag 60-sec challenge. I haven't won anything yet, but again, it's all part of that kind of game and thrill of the chase.
Yeah, I really think he is experimenting. I don't think it'll last a year because people look at the first 60 seconds and look at the comments as kind of spammy instead of waiting for all the better comments to emerge. But I think it's a great thing that he's doing. I really like him experimenting and looking for bigger organic reach through gaming the algorithm, so to speak, on Instagram and Facebook. So I think for Gary, it's a giant challenge. I don't think it lasts a year, but I'd love to watch his experiments to see if they work or not, because I could apply them to what we do.
What's a lot more telling about this, though, is the fact that Gary has pivoted from Snapchat, where he's an investor in, and he's going hard in the paint on Instagram. He's really growing.
I think we've talked about this a little bit. Right?
He already has a personal brand, but he's taking his brand up to another level by going hard on Instagram. And let's face it, Instagram's just rolled out a whole new set of features, including live stream.
And let's talk about that. Let's go right into Instagram live video. What do you think of it?
So I think live video is great on Instagram specifically. I don't think live video is great, but I think live video on Instagram is great. It's a good welcome addition. Here's why I don't think live video is great, because you have a lot of bad content creators. You have a lot of people that when they get in front of a camera, instinctively they're just thinking, how am I going to hard sell and how am I going to close you to sell
Or
things.
They're really boring and they're like, what are you even doing on here? Have a plan.
Look, real talk, Mark. I think that I can carry a conversation. We're doing this here. We just recorded for Real Talk. I think I can engage someone and keep them going. Am I good on live stream? Absolutely not.
I'm not either.
Because it comes to a point in time where you jump on and first of all, you're feeling pressure at the metrics. You're seeing people jumping on, you're seeing people jumping off, you're like, crap, I'm talking to 10 people, is this really worth my time? And it gets to a point where it's just not a fluid conversation. It's not us doing this. So I think there's a lot of bad content creators out there that live stream. Now, when you factor in bringing this to Instagram, which honestly is like a Snapchat-esque type demographic,
it's a competitor.
On there.
Let's face it.
It's a competitor.
They're trying to shut Snapchat down.
They are to Nike, they're Reebok. It's Nike versus Reebok, it's Coke versus Pepsi. That's what Snapchat and Instagram is. So now Instagram has just given us a feature that Snapchat has probably had 2 years of a running head start to give us that they haven't delivered on. I think that's going to hurt Snapchat long term. And I'll say this to you. I went on my first Instagram Live yesterday, and the majority of the people that were jumping on to my Instagram Live were people that are from my tribe on Snapchat. So what's that say to me? The same people that watch me on Snapchat are the ones that are now following me on Instagram. Now I have a vehicle that I can speak to them. But what is really interesting about this is there are people that have followed, I've been on Instagram now 5 or 6 years. There's people on Instagram that probably never knew what my voice even sounded like. They never were able to see the personality or the charisma, as we call it. And by having things like Instagram stories, I can create that short micro content that people like on Snapchat. I can put it on Instagram. I have a way now to do live video and draw other people. And I often say, the key to social media is not to speak to the same people in just one bubble. It's to go to multiple bubbles and speak to multiple tribes of people. And that's really how you expand your reach.
So quickly, as a marketer, how would you use Instagram live video? Would it be QVC-like? Would it be brand building? How would you use Instagram live video for marketers?
So honestly, I often say this with Snapchat. So it's really in the same vein as Snapchat, it's the same vein as Instagram. This is your own personal channel. And I know you're a big YouTube guy.
Yeah.
So think of your Instagram account and your Snapchat account as your own TV network, your own YouTube-esque channel, where you can now flip a switch and you can create content about your company, products, goods, and services, and you can actually bring them to life. Often say you should be looking to use these live stream services to engage, educate, or entertain.
And like you said, not everyone should be on live video. I mean, I look at some of the YouTube influencers that we go live with, they're terrible. But on YouTube, when they have editing and the things are recorded,
Yes.
they're phenomenal, obviously, with the results. But a lot of them can't go live, and a lot of us shouldn't go live. I'm speaking about me
When
specifically.
you know how to mix in music,
Yeah.
and you know how to do jump cuts, and you know how to edit, anyone can sound good. It's almost like public speaking. Not everyone can get on a stage and go teach. Because let's face it, you're gonna have a lot of people just staring at you with blank looks. There's an art and there's a finesse to being on stage and speaking to hundreds or thousands of people. There's an art form to getting on live video. There's an art form to being able to know how to create a really cool YouTube video that's gonna engage your audience.
And I think speaking is a great analogy. Even if you can speak on stage, like I know you can and I can, it doesn't mean you're going to be good on live video. And live video is like, people are hyper aware of what you're talking about, and they can click by just like that. As soon as you get boring, they're gone. So I find very few people that can do live video well.
I think it goes back to the metrics. Honestly, I look at who's in the room, who's engaging with me, and as soon as those metrics start to dip, it's like psychologically, like a switch starts to like turn off, and I'm like, oh man, the audience doesn't like what I'm saying. I need to get out of here. It's almost like embarrassing.
Right.
That's my perspective at least.
Or you just pivot real quick.
Yeah, just
on
pivot.
live video. Okay, last subject. I showed you the Bacardi USA DJ game on Instagram. So this is using live stories. Now all the content disappears in 24 hours. What's your opinion on it?
It's cool, but, and I think you're gonna like where I'm going with this. Cool does not sell. Whether it's B2C or B2B, whether it's Snapchat, Instagram, Periscope, Twitter, Facebook, cool does not sell. So the game that you just showed me, sure, it looks really cool. I'll probably play with it one time. It's not gonna sway my interest in buying Bacardi because I'm loyal to Captain Morgan or another brand that's not Bacardi. But it's cool. I think that what Bacardi or any brand, before they invest large sums of dollars into essentially creating an experience that disappears within 24 hours, is you do a couple things. One, think about the investment that we're making into this. And I used to actually, I don't know if you know this, I used to work in consumer marketing, running social media in grocery. So yeah, you probably didn't know that.
No.
Are you familiar with Winn-Dixie?
Oh yeah.
They're a supermarket chain. So I started social media for them.
Really?
And then I was the head of digital for Save-A-Lot. So when I think of consumer marketing and I think about the amount of money it goes into paying an agency to come up with a strategy and iteration and then do the design work, we're talking about a lot of money here. This isn't just a little $5,000 or $10,000 play. So where I'm going with this.
This sounds like an experiment to me. It's like, okay, we'll
It could
try
be
it,
an
we'll see what
experiment.
happens.
But what are you going to get out of this experiment if you're using Instagram stories? You're going to get impressions.
Or do you think it's the brands just like, we want to put out something cool, and we're going to spend our clients' money to put out something cool, and we'll be able to point to this as something in the future?
Honestly could be because they want to get into ad week. They want to be.
Exactly.
They want to be
That's
one of
what
the
I
first
thought it was when
brands.
I
They
first
want to
saw
be
it.
one of the first brands that's recognized as to doing a campaign or gamification.
There was
on
no
stories.
call to action. I mean,
We're
that's
here-
the problem I have with it. There's no call to action. So what? That you could play music and go back and forth with these stories, but there was no call to action whatsoever.
Here's where I'm going with this. When you take into account what their objectives are, which is probably to get awareness and get people talking about them, and actually have a gamified experience, think about that money that they could have invested into making. I know microsites are kind of like a 2012, 2013 thing, but you could have made almost like a mobile app.
Right.
You can make a mobile game experience. You know, that would be pretty cool. Kind of take your own songs, import them from your phone, import them from Spotify, and then
Or compete against DJ Khaled or something like that.
Compete with DJ Khaled, something like that. Or let's say it costs $100K. Take the $100K and put it into Instagram ads targeting your demographic.
Right. Right. With content that might resonate with them. I don't know how the DJ thing ties into Bacardi, but
take 10 to 20K and go out and hire influencers that speak to your demographic.
Now you're speaking my language.
Yeah, the language that I know you like. Go out and spend 10 to 20K, hire influencers that appeal to your demographic that you're trying to reach, whoever they are, because Bacardi has a wide array. And then take the other 90 to 80K and take the content that those influencers create in Jamaica and Barbados and Miami and all these cool, sexy cities with your product, and then amplify that content with money using Facebook's ad targeting criteria on Instagram.
Okay. With that,
I know my stuff.
Yeah, you do. You do know your stuff. So with that, I will ask each of you to comment. Do you agree with Carlos? Do you disagree with me? Do you disagree with both of us? Let us know in the comments below. Also subscribe right here in the middle. And if you have any ideas for future episodes, let us know. Thank you very much.
This has been fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos.